Hello and a very warm welcome back to the 2018 PyeongChang Paralympic Winter Games, where the snow has returned to the area. We're at the Gangneung Curling Centre for semi-finals day of the wheelchair curling event. Both semis taking place in tandem, and we'll be focusing on China versus Canada. China are the youngest and loudest team in the event, while the veteran Canadians are the reigning Paralympic champions and the only nation to have won every gold since wheelchair curling was introduced to the Paralympics back in 2006. I'm Logan Gray, and I'm delighted to be joined by two-time Olympian and Swiss helm of the USA. So this is the lead for China, Wang Meng. Second player, Liu Wei.
On sheet A.
Third player, Chen Jianxin. And then the fourth and skip, Wang Haitao.
Versus Canada.
It's going to be a fantastic afternoon, Logan. The match between these two teams, the head-to-head battle starting at lead for Team Canada. Marie Wright.
Republic of Korea.
Playing second, Dennis Thiessen. Third and vice skip, Ina Forrest. Leading the team off, the fourth stones and skip, Mark Idison.
Ole Frederick Severson. Ustein Stordal. Rune Lawrenson.
Lots of support in for the Canadians here in this semi-final. Somebody must have brought a whole load of those little flags over.
The largest curling nation on earth.
So the other semi-final, Republic of Korea against Norway, also going on at the same time today. We're going to find out who will go to the gold medal game and who will go to the bronze medal game, both taking place on day 8. This is the People's Republic of China's results, only losing 2 games in the round robin, one of them to Canada by 8 shots to 5, and also losing to the hosts Korea, who topped the round robin 7 shots to 6 there, very tight game. This Chinese team have been all action in the round robin. They make lots of noise, they make lots of shots as well, and they'll be playing the red stones. The alternate there, Xiang. Meanwhile, Canada, that X-round victory against the USA, lost 2 games back-to-back at the start of the round robin, and against the hosts Korea and Great Britain by 8 shots to 1, but they've been rolling since then. Really steaming their way through the field to make it here into the semi-finals, qualifying in second position.
They will throw the yellow stones this afternoon, and they are well supported from the bench with their alternate Jamie Ansiu, along with their coach Wayne Keel.
So looks like we're just about to get things kicked off. The scoreboards even, they're showing the clock with 40 seconds till we face off and get this semi-final started. So China have the last stone in the first end,
Which means that Canada chose rocks. Each team has a choice, and Canada, by virtue of their round robin ranking, they beat China head-to-head in the round robin. They would have choice of stones or last rock advantage. And Marie Wright will get this all-important semifinal underway. She's a pretty steady player for Canada. She has performed really well, very consistently throughout the tournament, and she is an absolutely wonderful player to get you started, keep you on track with your goal, your end plan for the game.
Well, here's Wang Meng. All of this Chinese team hailing from Harbin, the hotbed of curling in the northeast of China. Making final adjustments before setting this on its way.
You can hear already. This team from China absolutely takes command of the ice. It is their sheet from the beginning, their first rock. They're loud, they take up the space. They really are going to press this team from Canada, who's very controlled, very measured in their choices, their emotions. It's going to be two very different styles of play.
Do you think there's one better than the other?
I don't. I think after seeing all of the games from this championship, the Chinese team is very unique in its energy, in its delivery and share of information. It makes them a really entertaining team to watch. And clearly, it is a very successful chemistry that they've got going on out there.
Well, that was a good hit and stick by Marie Wright, all smiles in the background. Wang Meng, the only player in this team that hasn't topped the stats from the round robin, sitting in a miserable third position. There's 12 nations took part in the round robin in this wheelchair curling event, and 4 through. There's all that noise right out onto the nose.
You know, you wondered getting into this very critical championship post-round robin play if that wouldn't change the energy or the attitude for China, and it has not altered a bit. Now Denny Thiessen needs to answer. He's from Sanford, Manitoba. Curls out of the Assiniboine Club in Winnipeg, home to 2014 Olympic curling champions Jennifer Jones and team. He says she's his hero.
Well, this is the second player for China, starts in that very forward position, Liu Wei. His hero is their coach, Jingshuang Yue, who won the Olympic bronze medal in 2010 in Vancouver. He's also world champion in 2009.
And that 2009 World Championship came in this building. Maybe no better coach to have with you. She's won a championship here. She will know how to guide China right through these medal rounds, hopefully to the top of the podium for them.
And we're seeing a very defensive first end. Do you think that was always going to happen?
Oh, I think once Marie Wright's first rock went in the rings, China's plan was clear. Canada's plan was clear. It's keep it simple, get comfortable with the environment, get settled in, and give yourself a bit of an opportunity. But quite frankly, the Canadian team has been playing this tactic all through the championship. They've been very conservative in the early ends. Games have been somewhat tight, but then they take advantage of simple little errors that happen and they pounce. So this is very to script for Team Canada. And with that rollout, it gives the Chinese second a chance to have an open draw, practice his draw weight.
We got a good look at the Chinese stone there, and interestingly, he's throwing one of the stones from sheet A. Oh, this is on sheet A. Sorry, my bad. Well,
yeah, they're using A and C. Sheet D is taken out of play from here on out. The semifinal games will be on A and sheet C, and I believe the championship games will move to B.
That's where the finals were played during the Olympics, so you expect them to do the same.
And we get a look at Ina Forrest. Her first rock of this game. She is no stranger to this position, though, having played in this exact game 2 times previously. And she had no trouble winning that semifinal in 2010 in Vancouver, 2014 in Sochi, and was part of the gold medal winning teams in both those games.
Yeah, and she's one of the most decorated curlers in Canadian curling, and she'll be keen to match her old teammate Sonia Gaudet, who's got 3 gold medals at the Paralympics. Not here at this event, but played in all 3 of the previous editions of this Paralympics. Chen Jianxin, the 3rd player for China, top of the 3rds in the stats.
A little bit of adrenaline there. That was one of the heavier takeouts. So heavier, lots of momentum, lots of pace on that stone. Now Ina gets an open house to practice this draw weight. She has one of the strongest, most consistent, repeatable deliveries that you will see. She is very specific with all of her choices. Every time she throws the rock, you will see the same thing. It really is just to reduce the variable she's facing. She controls as much as she can, and then allows herself to make subtle adjustments after each shot. There won't be a need for a subtle adjustment from that one. Lands perfectly into the forefoot.
One of the things that we've seen from this Canadian team is that they've tended to fall behind early on. So I think they'll be quite keen to keep it reasonably tight in the early stages here. We hear this one kind of cobble down the ice. Chen Jianxin. Some runs for the 2nd time.
So that's that bit of a wobble is when they're adding that extra momentum on the takeouts. The rock can bounce and move a little bit. Those are really tough situations to be in when you're throwing a rock. You want to keep it as smooth as possible. Your delivery as controlled as possible. You don't want any wobble. And speaking of smooth and controlled, Mark Idison, the skip for Team Canada, has a very specific approach to his rock.
13.5 will do it.
So here is Mark Idison, the 41-year-old, also known as Audi. And Mark was actually the alternate in 2014. It was Jim Armstrong who skipped this Canadian team to success. Mark moving in off the bench, the youngest player of the team. Right down onto the pinhole. So at least he knows he's got his draw weight when he needs it later on.
Yeah, those chances to dial into the speed of the ice, how it's moving from left to right or right to left. Every time you get a simple shot that you get to execute, it builds over time, and when the situations get more complicated, which there is no doubt that will happen at some point, you'll know how to make those shots.
So there is that little cobble that we've been talking about. Still just wobbling as it gets set off, but then it smooths out. And looks like this one's down onto the nose. Good shot there by Wang Haitao. I like his mantra, his catchphrase. It's keep a high profile at work and a low profile as a man.
Wise words.
So there's not too many more high profile events in the Paralympic Winter Games. So he's certainly doing that at the moment. He's keeping himself out of trouble on the ice as well with some great performances throughout the round robin. They really are contrasting characters, the Chinese skip and the Canadian
Nice
skip.
shot,
You see the Canadian skip racing down the
Nice
ice and then
one.
almost
Nice
pulling like a handbrake turn, and then the stone's gone before you know it, whereas Mark Eisen just trundles his way down, kind of gets there when he gets there, gets all set up, and yeah, I think the Chinese skip probably saves about 3 minutes a game just by how fast he is.
Yeah, there is no lack of energy in this team from China.
So here we go, the final stone of the first end. Only one stone in play, and it is in the house, so Wang Haitao trying to peel it out.
Has a lack of rotation there. It's only one and a little bit, but that's enough.
Makes it go away. No stones in play in the first end when they've all come to rest. So we're going to have to wait until the second end to get our first score of the match, and the last stone is carried over by China. One end played here in the semi-final, and it's China 0, Canada 0. Well, the sheet D there covered by the podium, which will be used on day 8. Just A and C being used for the semi-finals, and then the Paralympic bronze and gold medals games will take place on sheet B. And Marie Wright's ready to get this second end underway. I read a great article about her, calling her Superwoman.
Superwoman, and her nickname is Mario. I have been calling her Super Mario since reading that article. She is a very positive person out there for Team Canada. She's an incredibly strong woman and very steady. She said this is a dream come true. And with a shot like that, Canada's mixing it up. So their game plan, put that rock out into the free guard zone. It cannot be removed from play until the seconds throw their rocks. So you can see Canada controlling that small space in the center of the scoring area. China's going to try and go right around that stone, beat Canada into the button.
Even those very long cues. Delivery sticks. This is a tough draw here for Wang Meng. I think it's heavy going by the yelling. Telling it to Woe. Needs to Woe to stop in the house. And this one's going to drift right on through.
So she's just getting a confirmation from her skip. We're talking about the time. Using hand signals. It's a noisy environment. It's not just noisy from Team China out there creating their energy. It's an echoey space. There's lots of people in the stands. Almost 3,000 people fit in this building.
Yeah, and we've got the host nation out there on sheet C as well competing. So obviously a lot of excitement here in Gangneung Curling Centre. This looks like a good draw here from Marie Wright. Bending its way around the guard now. Oh, lovely stone.
And that is a beautifully placed rock.
If there was a hack, they couldn't have done it better from the near one.
No, they could not have. It is, you can see the angles on those stones. One right behind the other. Now looking for a little redemption on her second rock here in the second end. Wang Meng needs to find that draw weight.
I was speaking to one of the other team coaches who remain nameless, but they were really interested to just watch the Asian teams, the Koreans and the Chinese, just to work out what they're doing technically that allows them to make so many shots.
Yeah, they just play at a very high percentage, very consistent. And this is a tricky little situation that China has forced Canada into. They're going to play a takeout. They're going to play to roll away. This is Denny's key job, these takeouts. He plays them very well. He's a bit of a streaky player. If he starts making, he keeps making and executing shots. If he's got a little bit of a hiccup that happens early in the game, we've seen him struggle just a little bit.
Stay out there, stay out there.
By the first one, just sneaks past the stone in the highest as well. What a shot from Denny Thiessen.
So much for rolling away. Why not just hit it right on the nose and sit 2 on the forefoot? That's the kind of shot that gets him going. Oh, that is so close.
He covered the inside edge as well, so Leo Wei won't be able to roll in towards the center. They do want to get that one out of there.
This is all risk here for China. This is close to an all or nothing situation. This feels early in the end, and there's lots of rocks left, but they could have opened it up and said, "Hey, we're not going to let trouble build up," but they went after trying to get maybe the second count position. Just rolls away a little too far.
14.
Like he wants it in there, like
13 and a half, 14.
Completely unprepared. Getting ready. He's got another rock here.
Out to the broom, Dennis. You got this.
Nice, comfortable little bit of tennis wrap or something on there. Just to help get better grip on the delivery stick. And I'm going to mix it up now after that great big takeout with his first, so we need to play a delicate draw here.
This is his first draw of the game. Puts it in a pretty good spot. China might be able to remove both of those stones, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough to get all the way to the inside edge.
Well, what's happening now is that China are going to use the full width of those tram lines, so they need to play from between that red stone, that red line just past the red stone and the red line closest. In the middle is the center line. They're trying to create a bit more angle coming from further out left on the sheet.
Yeah, and those lines are at 18 inches to either side of the center line. So that is one of the more unique kind of tactics available in wheelchair curling.
Well, just shaves the guard. Just touches it and no more. Still manages to get the one at the back though. Leaves the guard intact.
So this is the round objects hitting round objects. How they bounce, ricochet, the energy moves through and off of each other. It's always fun to watch those rocks just bounce around the rings. And Team China throws so much weight with their takeouts. They probably consistently throw the most weight in the entire field. And Canada doesn't need heavy weight though. They need the touch shots right here. They've got a pretty controlled position still, sitting count in the center of the rings. One guard in front, looking to maybe add another one.
Girl. Wave is fine. Did I do the same?
This one just looking a little bit short of pace, if anything, but still protects that yellow stone in the forefoot. Nice shot there by Ina Forrest.
That's good there, Ina.
Yeah, now we've got a chance. If China tries to go through that court, they could do tick-tick and bounce into the rings with their shot. open it up a bit. And they might be able to get through. It looks like there's just enough space for a stone between those two. It's a fun shot to get for Chen Zhenshin.
Well, if anybody can get through there, it's this guy. Been absolutely deadly accurate in the round robin.
Well, that's another way to do it. Hit a little on the wide side there and bounce the rock off the forefoot.
Well, we were pretty sure that he was wanting to come between the two yellow stones, but throws it miles wide. Still gets a pretty good result.
Yeah, it changes the scenario quite a bit.
Going to be the same draw though. Mark Anderson quick to call the clockwise handle to try and get one back in there. Ina Forrest was a little bit shy with her first one. How's the second one looking? Looks like she's made a good adjustment here. And wraps one right around into the forefoot.
And it's above the T-line. So that T-line is the red line that bisects the scoring area. And staying above it means China can't get in. They need to move it. They need to tap it back. Looks like with that ice, they're playing a takeout. Maybe a little less weight than he just threw. It's going to be all about that trajectory, hitting the target set by his skip.
Well, they would like to stick around here, China, looking like it's wide, and with all that weight, you need to be so accurate and goes out of the rings.
And this may be just a little bit of added pressure playing in the semifinal. All these hits and rollouts that we're seeing, and
Hey, Mark, get another one in there. What do you think for weight?
steady Mark
13.
Idison coming
A
down
good
the
13.
ice.
Ryan is
He's pretty controlled. It'd be hard to tell if he's having any adrenaline surges. We know that's part of his training. He works very hard on that, keeping that emotional control and consistency. Every now and again, you'll see him smile after a great shot. He doesn't often grieve the misses very hard, which is a great thing for all you young curlers out there. Don't be too hard on yourself. There's going to be another rock, another game.
Get by, get by, get by, get by.
That's by, it's by.
Oh,
Nice.
just squeezes by. I thought that was caught when it crossed the hog line, and it just hangs up and gets down in there to lie second shot.
You can see it's just going to almost hit the back side of the guard. Gets almost by and then just nudges it. Straightens it out a bit, but it still finishes. And now, China, are they going to hit, or is this the draw?
I'm coming up on the takeout in the ring here.
And trying to roll inside. That's a pretty tough shot. It's actually two shots. It's a hit and a roll. When the other option would be simply make the draw. And there's quite a bit of space. The full 8 foot is available to Team China.
Tough shot here for Wang Haitao. Doesn't really seem like a threatening stone, but they don't like them. And he makes the hit and stick and doesn't get into shot position.
Are we shot?
Yes, by that much.
We are
We are shot.
going around this way. Did you say we are, Mark?
Oh, Canada making quite an astute call here. Not interested in playing the takeout on that wide one because they know they've got a safe one in behind the
What do you think
centre.
down this path?
Yeah, they're
guys?
not falling for it.
What's that?
What do you think down this path?
I think
We haven't
the
been down here
opportunity to
much.
score 2 points was still there for Wang Haitao and Team China. And they just kind of conceded it. Now, really, barring some sort of disaster, they're going to be forced to a pretty tough draw for one, or maybe a tap.
Well, maybe looking a bit speedy at the moment. This one needs to rear up for Canada. Looks like it's going to stop for two,
Nice
though.
shot, Mark.
Line two.
Nice shot.
And just one to come for China in the second end.
Oh, we get an early smile from the Canadian skip.
Well, no wonder, to be honest. This team are playing 94% through the first two ends, which is just unheard of.
Yeah, life is pretty good for Team Canada right now. Haitao Wang, he's the man to answer. He's played incredibly well the entire tournament. He sits atop those skip standings performance-wise. He's had some extraordinary games, come through with really big shots, and China needs one right here.
Final stone of the second end here from the Chinese fourth player. Needs to be at least fully in the 8 foot, the white circle. Looking pretty good. Is it past the top yellow? It is. That's a great draw right down onto the 1 foot circle, the poppy, and it's a score of 1. The first score of the game goes to China. A lovely draw. Definitely worth a few high fives. Good endo from Canada. Really strong play in the early stages by the reigning gold medalists. Just 2 ends played, only 1 shot scored, and it's People Republic of China 1, Canada 0. Well, look at those incredible stats from Canada. 95% on draws, 92 on takeouts. They'll do well to maintain that for the whole game.
Yeah, and China's playing well. They just had all of those hit and rollouts in that last end, and that's impacting that statistical line that we saw. But it's early in the game, lots of stones left.
Wang Meng gets the third end started. Appears it like they're starting to settle into this semi-final match. All of them so desperate to get a medal to take home.
Team China cheers their own stone right into the half into the 8 foot circle. Canada sticking with the game plan, keeping it simple. They know they're executing at a really high rate. No need to make things more complicated than necessary. This one's curling quite a bit. Is she gonna stick around? Hits half that stone and rolls out. That's as close to disaster as Canada's seen yet.
So we need a little bit more ice there.
Looks like both teams, though, at the moment seeming very comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah, both teams seem very true to form. The exact systems and energies that they had in the round robin. Well, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing them here today. That consistency, that high level of play, commitment to your tactics, connection to the way the ice is moving, the way the stones are curling, the speed, the conditions you're facing, the environment, that you don't lose your identity just because now all of a sudden trying to make the gold medal game.
Well, again, a takeout being called here for Marie Wright. She reckoned that on this line they needed a little bit more ice from the first one, so let's see if she can make a hit to stick this time. Looking pretty good.
That's up-weight shot there. That was a pretty pacey rock from Marie Wright.
Well, I know that traditionally in the UK, anyway, the way the wheelchair throw is taught is from a very upright position and lean forward, much like the technique of Ina Forrest, whereas Liu Wei starts this very forward position and all the power comes from his shoulder. So accurate with these big weight takeouts.
And I think each of these athletes, you'll start to notice it's like golf swings. Everybody's got a bit of a unique delivery point and system that they employ. But the principles are the same. You want to keep lined at the target, the stone directly at the target. So, and the target is your skip's broom on the other end of the ice. And then you want a smooth, consistent follow through. And the way you generate weight, it would depend, I think, on your flexibility, your movement, your strength. These athletes want their chairs to be as steady as possible so they can create momentum with their upper body and perform just like that. That stone biting on the edge of the rings.
Another look at this technique of Liu Wei.
And then Wang Meng, his teammate, is behind him, helping stabilize the wheels of his chair so that there's no slipping, so that it stays as steady as possible. And this is diving towards the sidewall.
Yeah, I think he just hooked that one on release, didn't he? And it misses completely. So a bit of a gift here for Canada. They can try and score two without any risk.
And this is how they have handled this entire championship. They know at some point, if they play their normal, consistent, steady game, that they're going to get a little bit of a mistake from their opposition.
So just splitting the rings here.
Get in there. Get in there. Nice one.
And all of a sudden, Canada lies two.
So it's definitely getting a tad heavier.
So now this hit and roll, China's gonna look to all the way cross to the inside edge of that stone and roll over to the stone that they missed on the last shot.
It's one of the oldest strategies in the book to score two when you've got the last stone, splitting the house, putting them as far apart as possible.
It is one of the simplest ways to do it. You do have to execute throughout the rest of the end. You've got to hit and stick. And China needs to find the right way, the right connection to hitting on the nose and forcing Canada to hit. Giving Canada these opportunities to draw is absolutely playing into Team Canada's game plan.
Ina Forrest has the more kind of classic delivery. Starts from that very upright position and leans forward and then brings the arm through. Left-hander.
Yeah, and again though, you'll see some similarities. It's about lining up consistently, She is left eye dominant. You can see she's a lefty thrower. All of that focus and alignment right down the cue into the stone
Nice shot, Ein.
and down to the rings.
Well,
And
six.
she makes it better. It's a flatter angle.
Yeah.
I always think this situation is a bit like salt and pepper. And it's like, you know your opposition, they're having a nice meal, but they probably want salt and pepper. But actually, by putting them so far apart, you're making them just choose one or the other.
One
So
or the other. Now, Team China is probably going to want a little bit of hot sauce. And they throw it really hard and looking to bounce over. And they make a little bit of a move there. It's good news for them to just stick around the rings from the last two ends that we've seen.
well, they're throwing them like lasers down there at the moment.
They're throwing a lot of weight. It's one of their weapons, and they're going to use it no matter what.
We've seen lots of great draws from Ina Forrest so far in this semi-final, needing to make an accurate takeout here. A little bit of lift as it came out there.
That is her tendency. If she's got a bit of
Shot, Ein.
a challenge, it is periodically some of those takeouts where she's crossing her body, and the rock can bounce a little bit. She's trying to generate bigger momentum.
And makes a nice roll away as well to prevent any double takeout for China. There's that little handbrake turn into the position to throw.
Yeah, that is something for the viewers to watch.
And look at the stats of the two skips. Perfect games for them both. Not sure about that one. I don't
Yeah,
think
we had China miss the hit and roll with the skips first rock of the second end. So our statisticians are being pretty friendly today, as they should be. These teams have earned a great deal of respect getting into these semifinal matches.
Well, that one's definitely going to be a 50% shot from China. Hits and rolls out of the rings. All the
13.
shots, of course, marked out of 4 points.
Good 13.
And that's how they arrive at
Yours
these
was
stats.
right.
If they make it perfect, they'll get 4 out of 4. If they do
Yeah.
something like
Good
what
13,
Wang
Mark.
Haitao did there and just hitting and rolling out, then they'll get 2. And
Yeah.
if they miss completely, they'll get 0. And then 1s and 3s are somewhere in between those.
Looking for a 4 out of 4 for this draw. Keep their game plan alive. It's been simple. It's been out-execute your team, your opposition. It's a lot of rotation. That rock with that much rotation, it'll hold the speed a little bit longer. It stays a bit straighter in trajectory.
Shot, Mark.
And it was a real
Nice
good
shot,
choice for
13-1.
Mark Idison.
Good job.
Lands that rock nicely into the scoring area. It does create an angle that China can use. It's got a bit of a steeper angle, and potentially the double takeout is there. It's not available to many athletes. That is a lot of real estate to traverse. But this man right here, who's about to give us his wheelie turn break, slides in, locks the brakes, spins around. He can generate the momentum necessary for a real big double takeout.
Yeah, he's practiced that turn in there a few times, hasn't he? So it's China's final stone of the third end here. A lot of horsepower required. Massive extension from Wang Haitao. Needs to make sure he gets the first one.
would love to stick around, would love to roll all the way to the other side of the ice.
It was close. I don't think he could have done it too much better than that. I'm not sure that double takeout was there, but a great attempt by Wang Haitao.
Look at how far this stone rolls across the rings. Just an incredible amount of power at play there.
Well, this should be a bit of a formality from Mark Idison for being critical of anything this week. He's missed the odd kind of routine shot at key moments in the early stages, so we'll see how focused he is in the semi.
Stay up. Stay up.
Coming down the hill now, and he hits and rolls out. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. He's done that a few times. The team kind of gets them into a great position, and then the odd one, and Mark just doesn't manage to convert.
Yeah, China knows they escaped giving up 2 points. Team Canada knows that they've had it set up, and they'll go after it again in the fourth. After 3, all tied up, 1-1.
Well, the play in the fourth end will come back down towards the home end. Mark Idison down there on the end of sheet A, ready to begin play.
And the 57-year-old from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Murray Wright, gets Canada underway. And likely they'll try, and I would think they'd try that free guard zone, but this one's definitely slipping into the field of play.
Yeah. 11-9-2.
A little heavy on that one.
Just overthrows that, lands in the back of the rings. Now this is an opportunity for China to throw a corner guard. That rock is way, way to the outside of the scoring area. And I think they're going to try and play the takeout, though.
I think one of my observations about the strategy in the wheelchair curling event is too much of the shots that are called are based on the opposition missing. You're basically playing for the opposition to miss, whereas if you compare it to the shots selected in the Olympic event, the men's and the women's teams there, they play as if the opposite team are going to make every shot.
Yeah. And I think that you're going to see an evolution in the sport of wheelchair curling. It really has only been around since 2001, and the growth of the game since then is tremendous. 35 countries around the world play, 12 competed here at the Paralympic Games, and as more and more athletes start competing in this sport, I think the evolution of tactics and kind of the sophistication of the shot selection and also the level of execution is going to raise. You can see it with every successive tournament. The players get stronger, better. But you're right, we saw Team Canada just wait for a miss to generate their score of 2 points. They weren't able to capitalize it, but it was set up and there for them. And now China hitting that rock, being very defensive.
But we can kind of get a little bit more on board with Canada playing takeouts. Right?
Yeah, it makes much more sense. They don't have the last rock advantage. They don't need to generate any offense. They're gonna, and this has been their game plan from the get-go.
So another end of just trading takeouts here in the fourth. Makes the hit and stick. So I'll be interested to see what China do if Canada hit and roll out at some point where they want to choose to throw a guard. But both teams seeming quite happy just to run a few ends through at the moment and keep it tight.
Yeah, just completely unperturbed by the lack of stones in play. Canada definitely happy. And here we're going to get to see just how aggressive will Team China be. Moderately so.
I think this situation as well is a little bit about game management and what end you're on. So we're in the fourth end, which is an even number 4, and it's an 8-end game here in the semi-final. So generally you play the strategy in the game, assuming that scoring will alternate as the game goes on. Of course, when you score, then you don't have the hammer in the next end. So if you score in the 4th end, you expect to score in the 6th, and then the 8th, and you would have a shot to win the game in the 8th. That's the thinking. But by potentially blanking this end, China are giving that advantage to Canada.
Yeah, and in addition to that, so the extrapolated math out, the even ends versus the odd ends, this is also the last end before the break. So you go into a bit of a halfway point break. You get 5 minutes to chat with your coach and other team members. And it is a really great thing to send your opposition into that break down in the score, having just given up 2. China's lack of aggression here, they're playing fairly defensive, open draws, and hitting everything, isn't really going to put them into a commanding position going into that break, which is something that can take the energy from your opposition.
Come back, come back, come back.
It's like scoring a goal in injury time, isn't it?
Come back.
That's exactly it.
Maybe you've got an American example.
All right, okay.
Complete miss though by Dennis Thiessen, leaves that China stone in the house, and maybe China can try and generate that score of 2.
Yeah, and all of a sudden their tactics look real good. But again, you know, back to your point about planning for a miss, maybe their level of confidence is that they are going to get that, and the tactics work. Now for China, it is all about this stone right here. Split the rings. Oh, is that so steady, so strong in technique. I want this to slow down. Is it too strong? Nope. It's great. And with the raise of his brush, Wang Haitao lets his teammate know that's a great shot.
I just love their energy and their enthusiasm out on the ice. When they're yelling those stones down the ice, it's kind of, it almost feels like they've got 2 invisible sweepers out there.
Yeah. And they really do. They own the sheet that they're on. It is their space, and they are simply letting Canada borrow it when it's lending it over to Canada for a second here. That's how it's felt the entire championship when China is playing its games.
Shot on.
Oh, and Ina Forrest with a beautiful hit and roll back over to the other stone. That is about as good as she could have made that shot. And that's the kind of weight that Ina throws. Not too up, very controlled.
What a player, and what a shot. Rolls the 2 stones together, so maybe giving herself a chance for a double takeout with a future stone, whether it's hers or Mark Idison. Chen Jianshin even will try and roll the opposite way. Good shot by the Chinese third. Flattens the two red stones out a little bit. There's quite a lot more weight behind those takeouts from Chen. Need to be so accurate to stick around.
And maybe they've found that where to set the ice and how to execute those. Staying in play, so valuable. Ina still has a chance to, the double is available to her. She doesn't want to overthrow it.
Get over.
Stay with that steady weight.
Over.
Yeah, needs to move that wide one a few inches as well to get it out. Has it made contact?
Yes.
It has, but it rolls through too thin a contact.
That's a frustrating outcome. And that might be the difference between the two throws. The second one was a bit more weight, so it runs straighter. And she did shift to the other side of the ice. He's got to shift gears. Chen Jianshin.
Yeah, this is his first draw of the game as well. Did 7 takeouts until now. How good is his muscle memory?
It's real good. Look at that curling off into the wings, so far from the other stone.
A little more, I am. Yeah.
This is looking very similar to the situation that Canada had set up in the last end. Now it's Mark Idison's turn to play the giant hit and roll that we saw from Wang Haitao in the third end.
Mark Idison giving it the that doesn't sound good. Is it inside?
It is way inside. He misses by a country mile on that one.
He missed in the inside in the last end as well, so Mark Idison will need to
Why that happened.
think a bit more about that clockwise handle. Is missing on the inside at the moment. I think they put it down to there being too much curl. There's Ching Shuai Yue on the left-hand side, the coach for China.
She is a very steady coach. She is an emotional coach as well. We have seen her brought to tears of joy by this man, executing some great shots throughout the round robin. And now he's got a beautiful setup. So those conservative tactics that I was a little critical of all of a sudden have paid off. He's got an open draw to sit 1, 2, and 3 right now and force Mark Idison into what may end up being the biggest shot of the week for Team Canada.
Well, China really kind of teed up for Mark Idison's last stone. Bit surprised to see him put those red stones so close together.
Yeah, that was unnecessary. I think drawing to the other side. Forcing Mark to the opposite side of the ice where it would be a fresh turn, fresh look. Now he gets to re-rack in the exact same spot. He should know how to execute it this time. Remember, he missed by almost a full stone and a half.
Well, maybe that's what they're thinking. They can get the same mistake again. Looks like a much better line though here from Mark Idison.
Nice shot.
Oh, what a shot that is.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Oh,
doesn't make the double, but finishes in a
Fantastic.
really nice position there. Lying shot and kind of frozen on this red stone.
Ah, that is going to be a very difficult shot to get rid of. Boy, does that make up for a humongous miss on his first one. So China just needs to chip that Canadian stone, the yellow stone, out of the rings. He's likely going to lose the shooter, but he still could get two. Wheels in there. Buzzes right in there.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little bee buzzing around his microphone, but it's the wheels just slipping across the ice. Tough shot here, just needs to pick the yellow out. He kind of teed that shot up a little bit for Mark Idison, who executed it perfectly. Well, they're yelling at it. How does it look?
It's close. Oh, it's not close. It's perfect. And
what a shot by Wang Haitao. And out of nothing really, no guards in play, they generate the deuce and get that advantage going into the halftime break. The team's getting a 5-minute break in between the fourth and the fifth end. Chance to take on some fluids and some snacks. Have a chat with the coaches. After 4 ends, China 3, Canada 1. Almost a full house in the Gangneung Curling Centre. Everybody wants to know who's going to get those medals. .91% for Wang Haitao, the Chinese fourth player. Unbelievable shooting. And when better to do it in the semi-final at the Paralympic Games.
而且要提示他，你每次出手的时候，你别往下带，你往前顶，哪怕你往线上顶就行。
I wonder what's in the flask. A little bit of green tea, perhaps. The Canadians also playing terrifically well, way above their tournament averages. Rewrite, shooting the lights out. Nina Forrest as well.
Well, if we tap it back, we're going to be in the rings. Anyway, no guards, and we got to get by stuff, so I'm good with it.
Do you like that? Tapping back if they throw top four?
I like it. Like we got to make them. We got to make them think. Yeah.
But put some pressure on. I agree.
So there's the stats for the draws and the takeouts. Canada killing it on the draws, 96%. And come to think of it, they just haven't missed any, have they? They just have full control over that speed of the ice.
And that's something that Team Canada is going to need to hang on to as they go into the second half of the game.
掌握好六区力量就行啊。
如果真站到3区底儿啊，实在不行就再让他再来再磕一个是吧？
对。
没问题，就停开了嘛。
We've not really seen any guards in play in the first half. I wonder if that's something that Canada will try and employ in the second now that they're trailing by a couple of points.
Okay, guys. All right. 1, 2, 3. Canada.
Yeah, we heard them talk about the game plan, maybe tap back if China draws into the rings, which likely they will. They're up by 2 points. There's no need to press anything for Team China. They reset their energy, get back out onto the ice.
Well, just that score of 2 in the fourth end really separating the two teams, but it's been a very tight and high quality affair in this semi-final.
Yeah, 2 points is a very big deal, and it doesn't look like a ton, but it is absolute full control of that scoreboard and the momentum of the game.
Of course, neither China or Canada winning a medal at the Olympic Games in the men's or women's events. It was Canada who took the gold in the mixed doubles. So here's Wang Meng starting off the second half, 81% for the first half. Really good play by the Chinese lead. And they'll be looking to put their stones in the house, you would think. Now that they've got a 2-shot lead.
This stone will tell us quite a bit. They've got their game plan. It sits in the rings.
I think this one we could hit, and we got a guard.
I think we know that.
Canada showing themselves to be very patient here. They're going to throw the takeout, trailing by 2. A little bit surprised to see them not throwing a corner guard here.
Yeah, you want to take advantage of having that last stone and set yourself up for
And you stuck in.
a score. But that said, with this hit and roll out to the corner, it's a good spot. Maybe if China ends up hitting and rolling out, you'll see the delayed corner, as it is known, go up.
But by playing that takeout, they're relinquishing their opportunity to use the free guard zone, of course, because if they throw a guard with the next one, then it's going to be second players throwing after that, so they can remove the guard if they want, the Chinese. So here's the takeout on the wing here from Wang Meng. This approach has worked for both teams so far. They've both created chances to score multiple points without any guards. Now Canada will throw the corner guard.
Yeah, at some point, one of these teams is really going to have to go for it. They're going to have to get aggressive with the opening stones of the ends instead of this more patient approach. And when you've got a player playing at 94%, you might want to take advantage of that precision. She's making everything. 100% on her draws, 90% on the takeouts.
Might slip in.
Just short of the house. Went for that one a little bit early, but it does rear up in time.
Yeah.
Liu Wei, the second player for China, really has that big weight ability. Oldest member of the Chinese team, 33 years old. the youngest team in the competition.
And he just rips that rock right out of play. And because of Canada choosing to hit on that first stone, they've got nothing going yet. Wide open house. Denny Thiessen, Denny as he's known here, playing very steady. Puts this rock out into the field of play, looking for a corner guard again. You might want to go to the other side, just change it up a bit. This one's running
13-3.
right into the house.
This Chinese team did compete in the World Wheelchair Championship last year here in the Gangneung Curling Centre. And they made the playoffs then as well, but then stumbled their way to 4th and missing out on a medal. So that may be in the back of their mind. Canada didn't even make it to the playoffs, losing to Norway in a tiebreaker. Norway would go on to win the gold medal. They're taking part in the other semi-final against Korea right now. Norway just sneaking their way into the playoffs on a record of 7 wins and 4 losses. I'm just getting away from Dennis Thiessen a little bit.
So getting that rock very comfortably into the grip or the head of the extender stick that they use. All important. Lots of extra rotation. The rock runs real straight, rolls out of play.
Yeah, in both the 3rd and the 4th end, we saw open misses on takeouts, but no mental lapses so far in this 5th end. Janshin, 69%, being outplayed really by Aina Forrest so far, but I don't think they're really being punished for it because of the lack of stones in play.
Yeah, and the real difference maker was a miss by Skipmark Idison, and he followed it up with an outstanding shot, and Wang Haitao answered with an extraordinary pick takeout in the last end.
And that's the thing at the moment, is that there's not really any stones in play, so the fact that Chen Jianxin, his stats are falling all the time, but it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter if they make that shot or not. So
no, they're okay with it going right where it did, which was all the way through and into the bin.
Not the trash can.
The trash can. How about the garbage?
Oh, the garbage. Okay.
So now Canada desperately looking to create some offense. They've finally gone to the now they're a really long guard. China 2-point lead. Not gonna let anything hang around. They want a completely clear field of play.
I think there has to be some learning that takes place here for Canada. I think they thought that they could kind of play that delayed guard with the lead stones, and that they'd maybe get a mistake from China, or they would just leave it. But China have shown that they're very comfortable to play defensively, to make those peels, and I fully expect to see them, if they do manage to carry the last stone over, to try and use the free guard zone.
And the great skill for Team China is that high rate of speed on their takeouts. They throw consistently up and down the line the heaviest takeouts in the entire field. And Canada really playing to their opposition's strengths with those early shot selections. So this one, they'd like this stone to be a little bit closer to the rings. She's made the adjustment. It's halfway. It's still quite long. China not falling for it. And that's a nice try, Aina, but China is not falling for it.
And what is it that China aren't falling for?
They're not going to leave that stone there. They're not going to let Canada have anywhere to hide.
No.
Tempting, though, to play the draw.
It would be. You've got 2 rocks left, but that is the only way Canada is going to punish you, is if you allowed those rocks to build up in play. And this is a pretty great way to tell Canada, we're okay with your shot selections. Keep them going.
Oh, yeah! Wow!
We know what our game plan is, and it's, to hit and roll out. But a slight over curl, and all of a sudden, Canada's got a little bit of life because Haitao Wang's rock sticks around.
I know.
That's why he has to throw out.
Yeah,
Otherwise.
yeah.
So here's the opportunity that Mark Idison and Canada were hoping for. It's going to need to be a skip's deuce, though. Mark Idison to get both of his stones in the house to score 2.
What do you think of that ice?
What?
Looks like a lot of ice, eh?
Yeah, it should be good there.
Mark just meanders his way down the ice and gets all set up. I don't think they're having any problems with time in this game because of the open nature.
Yeah, they had 23 minutes at the end of the break. Each team starts the game with 38 minutes. So very comfortable amount of time for Canada. China had around 20 minutes at the halfway point. Plenty of time for both teams in the second half.
Hurry hard!
And
Nice shot, Mark.
that
Dandy
holds
shot,
true to
Mark.
form for Mark Idison tonight. He has been playing 100% on his draws, and that stat continues.
It seems so slow, eh?
Yeah.
This is where we need to let the officials see the 18-inch line.
Well, is there still a piece being shown to Wang Haitao?
If there is, he'll find a way to get past that first rock of his and chip it out. He moves to the opposite side of the ice in between the tram lines.
I think one of the things that this Chinese team understand that it's very difficult to make the kind of in-between weight shots without any sweepers. So what do? They just don't throw them. They just throw draws or they throw takeouts. It's literally that simple. Looking wide at the moment. Oh, and he's missed completely. So out of nothing, Canada with a chance to tie things up after 5 ends. Mark Idison, paint for 2.
Edge of 8. That's the good stuff right
Anywhere in the circles. Skips deuce.
Absolutely. And the other skip needs to reset. 2 misses in a row. We've hardly seen that throughout the entire championship. Now, can Mark Idison capitalize on this very open opportunity? Stone looks very nice.
13-1. Good job, Mark. Nicely done.
And it just rolls in the front door. So score 2 for Canada. And 2 big misses by Wang Haitao. Very uncharacteristic. Maybe the pressure of the situation starting to get to the young Chinese skip. So the team will be trying to lift them in there to get them all set for the 6th end, but after 5 it's 3 each. Canada with exactly the same amount of draws to take out. It's a few more than China as well. Canada have played less kind of hit and rolls out than China have, so that probably explains that. But nothing between them after 5, so a 3-end game here. And coming back to the home end here with Marie Wright. So going to get a guard in this one. Comes up short the house.
Offense on.
Perfectly splitting the center line. Looks like we're going to get a different look, a different foundation to this end. It's all been very, very open so far. No guards. This is going to be the more kind of traditional race to the middle of the sheet.
And the invisible sweepers might have overswept that one a little bit.
Well, just fractionally, just drifts past the tee line, but still right in there close to the button. Good shot by Wang Meng.
That was a 12-7, Marie.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can go 12-5, and if you tap it back, that's okay.
Looks like Canada maybe switching gears here.
They know the importance of scoring in this 6th end. This one, that even odd end, 2 hammers to 1 is coming into play. Canada's going to try and move the needle on that.
Come on, baby. Come on back. Come on, baby. Come on back. I might have went too far out.
Looking a little bit hot at the moment from Marie Wright. And this one's going to drift right on by and through the house as well.
Okay.
Just a bit of an over-adjustment there from Marie Wright. She knew she needed to put a little bit more weight on from her first guard. Just a bit too much. Very high levels of performance from both of these nations.
Wang Meng needs just a few feet less than her last start. So it starts to touch the curl. Needs to move a little bit more. It's going to sit out in the open. Great weight, just didn't have the line they were looking for.
She was just saying, sorry Skip, I was a bit wide on that one. And now Dennis Thiessen going to try and remove some red granite. Could go for the hit and roll, or they could try and play the double here. I think the main key to this one is to keep your yellow stone in play.
Absolutely, keeping your shooter in the ring, sticking around near the center. They don't have to be shot right away, but they do have to give themselves an opportunity to score. And this is going to roll out, just hits on the inside, the narrow side of that shot. They could have missed to the outside and made the double. So just not playing to the tolerance of the shot to get the most out of that opportunity for Dennis Thiessen and Team Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
China pushing for the score of a couple here in this 6th end. Coming around the centre guard now with Liu Wei. Very dynamic throwing position, doesn't it? It just looks like it's like a coiled spring ready to launch the stone.
He's going to go for it every time. But he's another one of those players. You'd be hard-pressed to know exactly which rock you're looking at for him because he's very consistent. Unfortunately, put a little bit too much momentum on that one, and it slips through the back of the rings. Now, a bunch of rocks have all gone down the same path. That path is getting faster and faster with each subsequent rock, so these players need to make an adjustment. And Canada's switching tactics here. This is the same exact situation they faced on their their lead second stone. Now on their second, instead of freezing down to it, they're going to take it out. A little bit back and forth on the tactics here.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit with the whole throwing a centre guard to start the end either, so maybe a little bit of inconsistency in the thinking. That one hits and runs.
Yeah, and actually not playing into the strength. Dennis Thiessen playing above 90% in his draws today.
They're going to miss now. The 9 is not good.
And there goes your center guard.
Whoa.
So you would have thought that China want to score here in the 6th end, but actually by calling this shot shows that they're quite willing to blank.
They might be playing a hit and roll to a corner. Just remove the rock off the center line.
Hits and rolls out.
Yeah, it just rolls a little too far. I think they were trying to set that rock up into a corner guard position.
Halfway.
So 14 and a half.
Well, another guard here for Canada. 14.5 seconds. The call here.
So that's the speed between the hog lines, or maybe what would be more familiarly known as the foul lines. So this rock needs to just get over that thick red line in the ice.
Nice throw, Ina.
That's the hog line.
Perfect. Good job. Just as I.
And it bisects the center line beautifully.
Same shot again here from China, just wanting to keep things nice and clear so they can blank the 6th end and retain the last stone advantage.
Maybe grab that off.
Oh.
Well, he's played a few hit and rolls out when he didn't want them. Chen Jianxin is looking for one this time. Seems happy with it. Well thrown by the Chinese third.
Now you've got to think Canada's happy with the choices China's making. This chess match, this who's going to blink first kind of situation. Canada looking like they were going to force, shifted tactics, or maybe even try and steal in this end with the center guard and the call of the freeze.
Nice weight, Ina.
Nice.
This might be a moment where China switches tactics. Nope.
Yeah, that would have been crafty, wouldn't it, if they'd peeled a few guards and then swung one around to go and try and score two, but they seem quite content with this blank end here in 6. been a very cagey game from both teams.
Really being very careful with their opportunities. The multiple point scores coming off of skip misses, really.
I think the Canadians, they've got a big miss here. That wasn't even close from Chen Jianxin. And Canada get the miss. I was just about to say that Canada have been the masters of their own downfall here in the 6th end and the way they've called the end.
And then
Put in there, Mark. You can do it.
Chen Jianxin throws wide and doesn't move the center guard at all. Mark Idison needs to drop a rock right around, directly behind.
Going down the left-hand side, aiming at Aina Forrest's brush there, and curling it back into the middle. 100% on his 6 draws today. The reality is because there hasn't been any guards in play, it's just been a case of hitting the paint with those 6 draws, but
it's pretty important paint.
Well, it's pretty fast down this line. As Anne said, there's been quite a few stones down this path, but Mark Idison is all over it, right on the tee line.
They're nuzzled up next to the Paralympic logo, the 3 agitos symbol in the center of the rings.
Someone's been commenting on the opening ceremonies.
Oh yeah, it's so agito is Latin for I move, those 3 symbols moving in a circle. That's the symbol for the Paralympics. Their motto is spirit in motion. And for Wang Haitao, he wants a little more than spirit in motion. He wants a Canadian stone in motion. He needs to come around the center guard.
Again, they're not messing around with the weight here, just peeling it out. They just don't do it in between weight. Oh, he's banged it and then stuck around as well.
That's a beautiful shot. Sneaks past the center guard, hits the Canadian stone out of play and rolls to the wings. The only shot we've really seen Mark Idison miss is this turn of a takeout in this kind of a spot. It was on the other end of the ice, but
yeah, I don't think this one will curl quite as much as.
Oh no, this is the exact spot where he missed.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, this is the exact spot where he missed in the 4th end. So you gotta hope that does not sit into his memory. He threw the nice double kind of takeout attempt on his 2nd one here.
How's it looking?
Perfect.
Oh, the players think perfect.
Nice shot, Mark. Good shot.
Really well done. Rolls out a little bit as well, which might just make it a little bit more complicated for China to blank.
Yeah, there's a visual impediment with the red rock that's on the side of the rings. Idison makes no mistake this time. Canada is sitting count 1, and yes, Team China has to play the other turn. They'd love to be able to play the short side of the rings, the outside edge, but they cannot. Statistically supporting if China should take a point here, it's not the worst thing to happen. They would have loved to have had 2 points with the hammer.
Well, the final stone coming down here in the 6th end. China trying to blank, needs to remove the wide Canadian stone, and he's got it. What a shot by Wang Haitao. Played the whole end to blank, and they get it. They keep the last stone advantage and keep control of this game. Now just 2 ends to go here in the semi-final. The 8th end will be the final one. It's the penultimate one to come. And there's nothing between them. It's China 3, Canada 3. Canada still slightly higher in the stats than China, but not ahead in the most important stat, and that's the scoreline.
The one kind of worrisome challenge for Team China is they haven't thrown very many draws. If they do need a precision draw at the end of an end, they'll be working a little blindly.
Just slipped on.
What was the weight there?
13-8.
Well, that's a disaster for Canada, slipping into the house. China will want to try and blank this end here in 7 to give themselves the last stone in the 8th. And by slipping into the house, then the free guard zone rule not in effect. Of course, if Marie Wright had been able to stop in the white area out in front of the house, then China wouldn't be allowed to remove the stone from play. Taking some time over this, full concentration from Wang Meng. Looking pretty good here. And rose to the wing as well. Super shot by the Chinese lead.
And all of Canada's best laid plans disappear with one rock.
And they're clearly not willing to push too hard either to get the force. They're calling the takeout here. You see a lot of teams at the Olympics throwing a centre guard here.
Nice throw, Marie.
Absolutely nuts it. Sits right there.
Good shot, Marie.
Still all of the plays in the rings. China very happy to be playing these takeouts.
And in the early ends, we fully expected them to play lots of takeouts, but this game's really just kind of turned into skittles for the whole match. Is that just down to the gravity of the occasion, or what's the thinking?
Well, it could be the pressure of the situation, but it could also be, quite frankly, their game plan. They're the only team out there that's done more takeouts than draws all week, and the way the game is running, everything is falling into place for that as a tactic, using the takeout as their strength. They're absolutely pleased that that's what they get a throw, even though they didn't quite execute perfectly on that last one. They're okay.
And Canada won't want this one in the house. Looking for the centre line guard, and China have shown that they're not going to ignore it, actually just right down into the house. Overthrown here by Danny Thiessen.
It's a beautiful draw weight, but they were looking for beautiful guard weight. So
13.
6 feet heavy for sure.
A little bit of concern in the Canadian faces. They desperately want to keep those gold medals with Canada. No other nation has taken one before since the introduction of wheelchair curling to the Winter Paralympics in 2006.
China's got other plans for that gold medal. They'd like to see it around their own necks. They are cheering themselves right into the control position in this game. It's tied up. They have the last rock advantage. Canada just being forced to the other side of the inch tactically. Coming up a little heavy when they need to be short. Rolling out when they need to stay in the rings. Bite around the outside edge of the rings. Oh, I can't tell. You can't tell from this camera angle. Might be on. We'll know for sure when we see China's reaction.
No, they're not.
And it is not on the rings.
China playing safe here. They're just going to draw to the other side of the house. They're more than happy with the blank count here in 7. There isn't that much opportunity on the other side of the house for Canada, but they want to take it all away from them anyway. Play out to the open side.
It sticks around, and Mark Idison taking another look at that stone on the side of the rings. If there's any chance that it's on, advantage is to Canada.
What about drawing down to that,
I think
Mark?
he was looking over there rather than
What about
in
drawing
hope
down
rather
to
than in
that?
good judgment.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we're seeing a
wanna go this
significant
way?
request and a shift
What
of
about drawing
tactics.
down to it?
Can't hear you.
You want to draw it down to it.
We don't have hammer.
Okay, we don't have hammer. You just
I think that's the point, Mark. Is the
Yeah,
so Canada are talking about playing the freeze and resting a stone against that red one, which in my mind might not actually be a bad call.
yeah, it would potentially create a forced situation, give Canada the hammer back, and,
Hold on, Ina.
and put the pressure on China.
Wait. Marie, no, wait.
Oh, no. What?
Who called
He told him,
timeout?
I did because Mark went like this. Oh, sorry, Mark.
So timeout called inadvertently here. I think
Sorry, Mark.
Wow.
I
Mark
thought you
made
went
some
like
sort of a
this.
signal which
I
was
did, but I just meant,
misinterpreted
do you want to call one?
by the
Not-
Canadian lead.
Not call one.
And, timeout called. It might not be a bad thing though.
That
If the
one
coach comes out and tells them to play a
Right.
freeze.
How far off is it?
Well, we could put a stick on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because that other side is lopsided. So
The accidental timeout might be just what this team needed.
Clean this out, and then the
And go
balls
for a
out
pull-up
steel.
steal.
Anything that we just
Well, that's why
What's up?
that's why I called it, because obviously Ina's instinct was
to hit it,
to draw to
or
it.
draw to it.
And
But you don't want to give up more than
No, I'm
one.
not saying that. It's because we're situated at the back of the house, and it's so easy to run it out of there. Like, you got to be pretty perfect to
Right,
make them.
because they can hit ours
And
out.
they got so much of the house to draw it. I'm not sure if they would, but if we, peel out, we hope from this we get lucky. But if not, then it's 8th. Then we got to go full
steel.
steel.
Yeah. So you think we should just bang it?
Yeah, I think we just.
Okay.
It's so far back, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like back
It's right
12.
at the back of the 12.
Yeah.
So it was a little farther, or if it's even in the house a little farther, it could be a little different.
Okay.
But because it's so far back, it's just so easy to rip out of there. So
Yeah.
maybe we get a break out of it, maybe we get a miss out of it, maybe we just
Yeah.
split them.
Okay, man.
Well, point in case there, I think, from the coach, that the whole strategy in wheelchair curling, it seems to be around just waiting for the opposition to miss.
Yeah, and I think the challenge here is that both these teams are executing.
Okay.
They are executing at a high rate, and the team that goes for it and takes advantage of that is going to win this game.
You just want to go out there and speak to the players and speak to both teams and say, okay, well, how about one of you guys just take the game by the scruff of the neck?
Mix it up.
Yeah.
You're playing great. You can do it.
Well, the coach comes out and calls the takeout here, which looks like the end will be blanked, which wouldn't be a good outcome for Canada.
Nice shot, Ina.
Well, Ina makes a good shot just to peel it out.
China still has 4 rocks left to play.
To me, it looks good, Ina. Like I think.
And there is a chance they could, if they wanted to, freeze to the crowded side of the ice. And all of a sudden we get a shift in tactics. That's what they're going to try. It's interesting that they chose not to do this with 5 rocks left to play, but they're willing to try it with 4. China, maybe they're going to try and take the game by the scruff of the neck.
So Chen with the freeze attempt. Only 50% for his 2 draws in the game. Needs to get down there into the house. Doesn't want to be short. This is a really good attempt by Chen Zhanshin. Doesn't quite make the freeze, but still puts it in a bit of a nuisance position.
Well, this ups the level of difficulty. His execution ups the level of difficulty for Ina. You can see what she's looking at. If that over curls at all or sits, hangs wide,
big exhale before sending it on its way. That pre-shot routine the same every single time.
That's why it's starting to curl. It's got less weight. Is she going to jam this rock? Does she have it?
Sorry.
Oh.
I think
Denied. Just hits the wheelchair, but it was running through the house anyway.
I think it was going to go out.
It was going to go out.
Well, this could be a controversial moment here. I don't know whose wheelchair that actually
That's
hit.
up to him.
It hit Mark's.
So this one over curls. It bounces off the yellow, and then
I hit it, but it's up to him.
Mark Addison trying to get out of the way, but stops. So that's the official, the umpire, Rantsu Garcia.
Yeah, so this is a situation, the way the rule is structured, the offending team is Canada. So the non-offending team should be trying to put the stone where he thought it was going to go. Wang Haitao might not have been able to see, right? It could have been blocked. That rock was definitely going to leave the field of play. But again, we're talking about what they can see.
I wonder how much of this is actually a language problem.
Do they have a translator?
Where's their coach?
So if you're worried about the time clocks, they won't be running at the moment. This is what they call a technical timeout, where they work out what to do next.
It's up to them, but he just needs his translator so he understands.
But it's when he wouldn't have been shot. If he put it in, a shot. It would have been shot.
Yeah, this is really a challenging situation for both
it was
teams.
out for sure.
It is.
It hit me hard enough that it moved my shirt.
Yeah.
So here comes the head chief umpire, Michael Schlatter from Switzerland.
So this is actually a burned rock, is what that's called when one of the players touches a running stone or a stationary stone.
So everybody other than the Chinese skip seems to think it would roll out, or maybe the Chinese third thinks it would have stopped in the back line too. There's one slight difficulty here in that it's most likely to be the Korean game that's on the big screen in the centre.
Exactly.
No. 磕这儿甩了这儿，完了这儿他碰了。OK。
No, it would have been out.
I'm amazed that there's not a Chinese player or person around who's got a few words of English. To maybe sort this out.
Yeah, this is a very pivotal kind of moment. You can feel it, the tension from the Canadian athletes and also the Chinese athletes.
What's the rule? Is there a rule, or it's just sportsmanship sort of
他
thing?
轮椅碰了，我选，我摆回原位，我摆回原位。
So the rule is he could have come to rest where he could have come.
Yeah, which is
It
out.
would have been out.
So
I mean, you were there.
I would say
Controversial moments here. Here's another look.
That stone definitely had the pace to go all the way out of play. There is really no doubt about it. And unfortunately, Mark Idison did not move quickly enough to get.
No.
Quite often these long discussions are the result of it being kind of marginal. Like,
Yeah, but to leave
well,
it
I think it was going to go out, but I'm not sure. But that one looked like it would have just about gone all the way to the bumpers on
Yeah,
its
it
own.
would have gone all the way.
I'm at fault. I don't doubt that.
He can put it into shot.
basically your own fault.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Let's just get it back.
No, this is a tough moment here for the Canadians.
There's no instant replay.
Maybe the Chinese players truly do think that it was going to stay in play, but I can't imagine they thought it was going to stop there. That's exactly where the chair stopped the stone.
Yeah, that can't be where it would have stopped.
我摆，他碰了我摆。OK。
Well, you can't just put it in a shot rock.
He doesn't understand.
That's the little white book, the
Yeah, double
rule book.
checking the rule book.
The Chinese bench don't seem too keen to go down and translate for them.
Sitting right, see that circle? That's why.
Well, the way things are sitting currently, it is going to benefit China if that rock can stay right where it is.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure that there is a player in a person in the Chinese delegation who can speak English, because they have things like team meetings with the umpires, which are important discussions that take place around the event. And if they don't have somebody who can speak English,
Yeah, I suggest to move it on.
Like I was sitting right beside it when it hit my chair. It would have come out.
Yeah.
And then
So that circle is where.
that circle is definitely where it hit my chair. Okay.
I think one of the giveaways here is actually that circle on the ice, because it hit the chair with so much speed.
Much force that it actually rocked onto the ice and left a mark.
Yeah. Well, he obviously thinks that's where it was. I don't think there's any bad sportsmanship here. I think it's just he's just misjudged the situation a little bit.
Yeah, and again, this is, I mean, unfortunately for Mark Idison, the way the rules are written, it is the non-offending team's right. They're going to try and do it as best they can. Haitao Wang really didn't have an angle to see where that stone was going to stop. I mean, I think he'll probably feel quite disappointed upon rewatching the video. But
how difficult will this be for the Canadians to accept?
it is a very frustrating situation. It is hard to train for these kind of situations. Curling really is has a high level of sportsmanship, and you kind of count on that. In this situation, the Canadians are going to feel that that was violated. heard them mention sportsmanship during the discussions with the official. It's a tough situation, but Canada is going to have to dig pretty deep. They were already up against it a bit. They don't have the last rock advantage. They had left a rock around in the rings that China had made a wonderful play at, and so Canada has to, as best they can, let that go and play in the moment that they're given right now, and that means making this double takeout for Mark Idison.
So they just need to put that situation behind them now and focus on making the shots. They can still get out of this one without losing a multiple score. Just skip stones to come here in this penultimate end. And you can almost tell by the expression on his face that he's seething a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, he needs to settle down.
We've got plenty of time. And actually buying himself some additional time to throw the stone might not be a bad thing either.
Yeah, this is a critical point for them. If he can execute really well, it will remove all impact from the kind of semi-controversial situation. Little narrow, it looks like, but could hit across the top of the stone in the back.
Does enough to get it out of there.
Good shot, Mark. Good shot.
It's another miss on the inside on that clockwise rotation for Mark Idison. And this is a little bit of a shame the way this seventh end's panning out. It was a good shot played by Aina Forrest, and the Chinese skip just has misjudged it a little bit.
Yeah, but we have to, you know, let Haitao Wang off the hook a little bit, because it is the non-offending team's
prerogative,
kind of responsibility to handle that situation. It is one of the more challenging moments for both sides. And again, I don't think he would do anything with malintent.
So it just needs to be anywhere in the house really, and it's got a lot of running behind this one.
Yeah, it's got quite a bit of pace.
And this one drifts right on through the house, and maybe Canada will feel that that's justice.
Right, we got to wonder if you know, he wasn't feeling a little bad about the situation as well. I mean, it really is difficult for both teams when you don't agree and you're having that kind of complicated altercation. This is a non-interference team sport, and all of a sudden you're together trying to work towards a solution. It's tough to plan for.
It's coming.
But Canada gets a chance to try and get out of this situation, and they do so.
Well, I think that Wang Haitao just tapped his
for luck
stick on the button. I hope it's for luck, because that would,
I think that might be for luck.
because that would be the most ridiculous tactical decision that I've seen this entire week. Is he going to try and score one here? The textbook would say throw your stone away and then give yourself a shot to win the game in the 8th end.
We'll know in a moment.
He's certainly concentrating very hard on it.
Yeah, he's taking.
That's unbelievable. I'm flabbergasted right now. So it looks like he's drawing for one here, and Canada will be thinking, this is ideal.
Yeah, I think
I think that we might rename that one the Chinese blank. Comes up short of the house. And wow.
What an end of play.
That was eventful. No stones in play, but wow, can't believe it. 7 ends played here, still all tied. China 3, Canada 3. Both semi-finals still out there, and both tied games. 3 each, China and Canada, just one end to come. China with the last stone here in the 8th end after a bizarre few exchanges. Marie Wright starts the 8th end for Canada. And they really need the centre guards. They've struggled to get them up when they've needed them. And that one is absolutely peachy from Marie Wright.
And Wang Meng gonna look to negate that center guard by coming around it, beating the Canadians to the center of the ring.
Wang Meng, she's made a couple of good draws, actually 2 ends ago. She made really nice come around to the tee line. This one looking good as well. They're roaring it on. What a shot from the Chinese lead. That's a beauty.
She is not distracted by any of the pressure or the situation.
We're going to be out here.
Be a little slower down this side.
What?
It'll be a little slower. We haven't been down here.
So it'll be a little heavier?
12 and a half, 1275. 1275.
I got to set again. Okay.
So Canada has plenty of time. They've got over 9 minutes for the 7 stones they have yet to play in the game. That is one of the biggest cushions they've had at the end of a game. That's really good news. They are all very specific, controlled, dedicated to their process and setups kind of players, and giving themselves that little bit of extra time will be very valuable as the pressure starts to rise. Oh,
The weight was good, hey?
that was not what they were looking for. They took their own center guard.
Well, that is just a wrapped gift for China, opening up the center of play. Really big mistake there by the Canadian lead after a really good guard to start the end.
And that board side, we've seen a ton of curl off that board side. And you just wonder, did Canada get caught? Because that rock was a little heavy as well. And it curled a ton.
Raising her arm in the air like a gymnast about to start their routine. You don't hear that from a gymnast, though, roaring it down the ice.
You might now. It's a pretty good tactic.
China lying 2 here in this 8th end.
You can move it Outside back line.
Well, Canada talked about using this call at the halftime break, so starting to bring it into play. This is good thinking by Mark Idison.
Yeah, just kind of move the stones around. At this point, it doesn't matter if you take out both those red rocks in the rings. You just got to move them around, put them into a position that might help you later in the end.
How much easier, Anne, do you think it is for the Canadians to play this 8th end, knowing it was blanked and he didn't lose a score of 2 following that controversial moment? This one
nice weight.
sails through the house. Great weight. Just got the line all wrong.
Oh, it's perfect weight.
Okay. All right.
I guess it's not easier.
Just put them in there.
It's
Squeeze on theirs and then.
yeah, and China back on it.
2 mistakes in a row from Canada, and China big favourites here in this 8th end. Can they dump the reigning gold medalists out here in this semi-final? Liu Wei with the peel this time. Curling now. Has he just chipped it, or has he had it on the nose? Perfect shot.
Absolutely perfect shot.
Come this way.
Yeah, freeze on top.
Changing handle here. Going for a freeze.
Right on top.
Yeah, they had trouble managing that other side of the ice.
Go, Dennis.
Just T-line.
Oh,
Just
yeah, that
T-line.
feels good after you make that shot.
T-line.
It's not a settling breath. It's a sigh of relief.
Yeah. Liu Wei can't relax just yet. He does have another stone to come in this 8th end.
It's Denny Thiesen's turn. He needs to find a connection to that draw weight. Get that going.
I guess it's one of the another kind of big difference between the Olympic format and the Paralympic game, where basically once you've thrown your 2 stones in that last end, it is just a case of waiting and hoping that your teammates get the job done, because at least, I mean, in the Olympic game, at least you still have a kind of an active role in sweeping to get the shots made, but it's in this it's very much a case of just sit and hope for the best.
Yeah, you do have to do that. There's some things we're going to see from the athletes that when they are finished throwing their rocks, you know, there are still responsibilities they've got, stabilizing their teammate's chair, timing the rocks, really getting as much information, watching the line of your opponent's rocks, of your own rocks. You know, you're not actively going up and down the ice with the rocks like the more traditional format of the game, but you are still actively involved in the information share and what you're learning. And China with that shot, I'm not quite sure. They're hoping to win by 3.
Yeah, you would expect them to have played the peel there. I think at the moment, I mean, they're getting away with it, China, but at the moment they're Skip's having a little bit of a meltdown mentally.
Yeah, he's flip-flopping on tactics, and it started when they played that freeze with 4 stones left to go in the 7th, and then really he had switched tactics and then back and forth from hitting to trying to draw at the end. This is, you know, not only is this a high-pressure situation, this is what they've worked for, to put themselves into this chance and to be playing, you know, inarguably the greatest Paralympic curling nation for a chance to go to the gold medal game. That kind of pressure it's immense. So losing your way a little bit, understanding, it's understandable.
I think Canada will be quite happy with the situation. At least they've got a few stones to work with. The timeout called here.
Now this is, they've lost their way. We just talked about it. They're going to look for their coach to come out and help right them. Unfortunately for China, their performance after timeouts, it's only 60% rate of execution. It's the lowest in the field.
Surprising for the team who's made the most shots in the round robin. That's Chuang, the coach for China. Played second stones for Wang Bingyu, the 2009 world champion and 2010 Olympic bronze medalist. Comes out and tells him to remove that stone at the top of the 8 foot. It's a little bit of a threat to China, because if Canada ever came down and tapped that up, then it would be in an extremely good position. So they've recognized the threat here.
Yeah, and this is the situation. All of a sudden, that big takeout weight that China's able to throw is going to come into play in these last couple of rocks. Chen Jianshin did not like that stone, but it looks like it's okay line right now.
Manages to steer it past the one in the red 4 foot circle as well. Great shot there by Chen Jianshin. China edging closer to a place in that gold medal game. Just 6 stones to come. And he just glanced this one on the way by, just flicked it.
Rolls his shooter away to the side of the rings. Canada 3 stones left.
Aina Forrest here, the most successful player in the field. Needs to pull out a good one here. It's her last stone of this 8th end in the semi-final. She needs a good one. Gives herself a few words of encouragement and sends this one on its way. We'll be looking to be in shot position after this one. Not too far away. It's going to bounce off that red stone. What a shot by Aina Forrest. That is a beauty.
Steely. The pressure so high. Tons of Chinese stones throughout the rings. She's going to use them to her benefit.
And what a time to step up for Aina Forrest. Over the moon with that one.
Now that guard is still up there. You got to wonder, China chose not to peel it a couple of rocks ago. Goodbye.
I thought they were going to hit and roll into the back of the button there.
They almost did. If that had curled half an inch more, a centimeter more, China would have sat shot in the back of the 4 foot.
Because if they come this way, it's going to jam, right?
Well, after like 6 ends of nothing, this game has just gone into overdrive in the last 2 ends. Such an exciting climax here in this semi-final.
Like this way then? Think?
Still impossible to say who it's going to be in the gold medal game with just 4 stones to come here.
Yeah, it's absolute. This is one of the best games of the week.
What are you thinking?
We're thinking, yeah, guard on this side.
Okay.
Both teams have used their
Because if
timeouts.
decided, we'll chip over onto
Exactly.
the
They
rim.
just need to work it out amongst themselves. Plenty of time though.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Okay. Guard this side, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like it.
So after some discussion, Canada's going to guard this center line side. Mark Idison now, remember he threw under such duress in the last end. This has got to actually feel like a better, easier situation for him. He's in control of his own destiny to some degree. He is playing a really great game. Kind of one significant miss.
So a guard down the right-hand side, or even a freeze wouldn't be a bad shot. Looks like he's got a good line here as it passes the guard.
Nice shot, Mark.
And gets down into a great position for Canada. Looking good to steal. There's all that red granite in the house, but Canada in there in pole position. Still looking very comfortable. Mark Idison has a lot less stress in the face than there was in the 7th end anyway.
Absolutely.
Well, China now thinking we should probably tidy this up a little bit and open up that shot stone. I did have the chance to peel this guard earlier in the end and
chose not to. It was always going to be the rock that Canada used to put the pressure on. If he sneaks by and ticks the Canadian stone that's in the forefoot.
Makes a nice peel, loses the wide one, but that wouldn't really matter. Well, Canada's gold medal hopes are going to come down to this guard from Mark Idison. It's a very lonely yellow stone in there, and Mark Idison needs a perfect guard. And even still, they're going to need a miss from China. The nerves are going a little bit now. He knows that this shot must be made.
Well,
hey, guard, Mark.
Be tighter, right? Guard this puppy, yeah.
Did you have any names for the stones other than puppy?
Oh, it depended on how I was throwing them.
Well, this is Canada's final stone of this semi-final. There's definitely going to be a score here in the 8th end. Will it be for China or will it be for Canada?
This rock needs to sit just outside the rings. It's got to curl. It's heavy. It's got quite a bit of momentum.
Whoever gets round it into second shot. What a result that is.
It's not the first call. They had trouble managing that side of the ice. The only person who managed it perfectly was Ina Forrest. But
the incredible thing about where that stone's finished is that I don't think China can even play the double takeout to score one here. If they went for it, then that yellow stone closest to Wang Haitao is just going to lock on the
red
back
stone
red.
in the back forefoot.
Wow, what a turn of events. I think that China are going to have to play the tap here.
Unless he's thinking, hit it thin, over the top. I just don't know with the kind of weight needed that you can get by that center line guard. It's possible. The tap is for sure the shot. You've got things to run into. You've got a pretty large window of weight that you can throw. But boy, Canada has done all they can do. China looking for their best opportunity.
Mark Idison maybe getting a stroke of luck that they were due there. He was trying to throw the guard, throws it 6 feet heavy, and it is nail-biting stuff here in this semi-final. We're starting to see the right shot there. They've worked out that double takeout looks impossible. This is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, the way they're sitting.
Well, Canada just have to sit and wait now.
And China down to about a minute, 15 seconds at this point. They had to make the shot. They have to make the shot selection. And now they have to make the shot. Coaching bench, Wendy Morgan, Wayne Keel from Canada looking on. They know that their team has done everything they could in this last end. Try and steal a victory from China.
Well, that's what he faces. He's just going to try and raise that red stone on the left-hand side onto the button. Such a hard shot, especially under these circumstances. Just a last-minute adjustment. First time we've really seen him change the ice from the throwing end. So a very stressful moment here for Wang Haitao. Can he perform under the pressure and make this highly difficult tap-up for a place in the gold medal game? Wang Haitao of China, not a lot of handle on this one. How's the line?
The line is close.
He raises it up and gets it. What a shot by Wang Haitao. Hits the back red stone perfectly. And China put out the reigning Paralympic gold medalists for the first time. We're going to have a nation that isn't Canada winning the wheelchair curling event at the Paralympic Winter Games. He raises his shoe in celebration.
That game had everything. Absolute heartbreak for Canada. Pure joy.
Just gutted the face of Mark Idison. I think that one's going to be a difficult one for them to take after the difficult situation in the 7th end, and then they thought they had it wrapped up there in 8. And Wang Haitao plays an unbelievable shot to put them into the gold medal match. Final score in this semi-final, China 4, Canada 3. What a game.
But we had to make it.
No tears yet, but they'll come. Clearly over the moon, the Chinese spectators as well. Smiles from the Canadians as always. They've been brilliant to watch throughout this week. And they'll go again in the bronze medal game on draw 8. It's a different picture in the Canadian crowd. A lot of dejection on the faces. What a game of curling. Here's the stats. Wang Haitao, 73%. You see quite a bit below Mark Idison, but he played the one that mattered, didn't he? He made that final stone of the 8th end. It was a chaotic conclusion. Unbelievable stats from Canada. The highest we've seen from any team this week, 79% team average. That kind of stats would mix it with the teams at the Olympics.
Yeah, it just came down to hammer management. Who had the last stone when and how they were able to use it. And you see China sticking with their game plan, tons of takeouts, high level of accuracy. The Canadians drawing beautifully in this game. They just didn't have the hammer in the last end. So by virtue of that, People's Republic of China on to the gold medal game.
Yeah, and into the bronze medal game, Canada. They'll await the loser of the other semi-final between Korea and Norway out there in an extra end. And of course the winner going into the gold medal game to face China. Such an exciting game here in this semi-final, right down to the final stone. 6 ends. Well, that game was one for the ages. One of the greatest games of wheelchair curling we've ever seen in the semi-finals. So exciting. I don't have any nails left, either does Anne. But China, after that amazing final stone by Wang Haitao, puts China into the gold medal game. Unfortunately for Canada, they lose in a terrific game. They'll go into the bronze medal match on day 8. Still to find out who they'll play against. From myself, Logan Gray, and Anne Swisshelm, thanks for watching.